Hi, this is Beto Paredes with another episode of Marketplace Masters here in our media center. And I have an incredible opportunity for everyone today. There is a gentleman that has been training in the automotive industry since I've actually been in the industry. As a matter of fact, I've been in about 12 years now. And this gentleman was actually, at the time that I entered, already very popular amongst dealers and helped hundreds of salespeople across the United States at different dealerships. I've got with me here today George Dans, and we're going to talk a little bit about what it is that he's done in the past and what he has to offer the dealership. So, George, how are you today?
No, fantastic, and thanks so much for taking the time to give me the interview.
Absolutely, you bet. I've been looking forward to this interview actually for a number of days. I knew that we were going to get together here. It's been kind of a busy holiday season, I think, for everyone, and now here we are. So, George, I want to get right into it. We want to give our audience some information about what it is that you do, how they can engage with you. I'd like to start out by, just letting you tell me organically, tell me about the business that you have. What is it that you offer to dealerships?
Yeah, great question. What we do in our company is we come into dealerships and we do it's almost like a body scan or a full dealership assessment of, what is the dealer selling right now? What kind of profits are they making? Where's their business coming from? How are they attacking their database? And from there, we pretty much know that it's going to come down to either technology or it's going to come down to the people. And what I take care of and what I work on and what I train and develop is the people. And so what we do is we have a certain training program that develops the people, policy, process, and procedures, which will equal increased profits. Now, some people think the easiest way to sell more cars is to buy more sales, whether it's advertising, marketing, several websites, different types of technology, which are all needed. Then other dealerships think, well, if we just keep turning over the people and find good people, we'll be able to reach our goal that way. And those are two ways I don't do. And the third way is the people part. And Beto, that is the hardest part of the business because there's a lot of moving parts with people. And the successful dealerships, they're either going or they're growing. Going means you're just spending crazy amounts of money to bring customers in and hopefully pray that that's all going to work for you. And then the most profitable dealerships that I work with that, we set some crazy goals that just seem absurd at that moment. These are the people that are developing their people through dynamic training, holding people accountable, giving them the skills to be able to sell today's customer, which has become a professional researcher. So for the most part, Beto, they know where to buy, when to buy, how to buy. The hard part is who to buy from. And so we have to give these dealerships the right training so that they can capitalize on the opportunity once they show up, text in, call in, or email in.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I work on the technology side, as you know. There is nothing that is ever going to replace the customer service and the savvy of the actual salesperson that's going to make that transaction a reality, no matter how that individual may have found their way to their dealership. Obviously, what you do is highly valuable. It will remain highly valuable. And I have a question. If I was a dealership of whatever size and I wanted to engage George Dan, do I fit the criteria? So tell me a little bit about the size of dealerships you normally work with.
Well, first off, we work in new car, used car or pre-owned, subprime, and buy here, pay here. And there's different sizes of dealerships in every category. So I've been in places that have had 5 to 10 salespeople. Maybe you get into the subprime, you might have 10 to 15 or so. And then you get into new car stores, and you might have multi-franchises, Beto, where you have, let's say, a minimum of 10 to 12 sales people at one dealership. But when you put these mega groups together, I've been in workshops as high as 400 people in a workshop. So we're able to adapt and adjust at any level or any size of dealership because, at the end of the day, like you said, it's still coming down to the people. The people are not being replaced by technology. And I wanted to give out one stat. And when you said this is still a people business, 71% of the people will buy if they like their salesperson. So if 71% will buy because they like their salesperson, then doesn't that mean 71% won't buy if they don't like their salesperson? So it still comes down to personality and personal skills, and then also professional skills. You got to have all three together.
When you're dealing with the second largest purchase usually in your life, depending on the median that you live at, which is usually your car, a couple of cars compared to your house, that's a really big decision, and you've got a lot of trust on that individual that's actually going to be handing you those keys. So I can totally see what that is. Tell me, is your training affordable, and how do you do it exactly?
What we do is we have either an open day rate, and I build my rates pretty much by the size of the dealership. So obviously, if you're a mega super dealer and you have 50 to 75 salespeople in let's say in a workshop, there is going to be a higher cost. It's just logistics, workbooks, materials, and so on. But the one thing that I do is, and I know this industry, I've been in it, Beto, since 1994. I was a top trainer years ago for the Joe Verde organization, and I can remember some of those charges being $10, $15, $20, $25,000 a day, and those rates are, for the most part, are gone today. So I kind of just sit and talk with the management and the dealer, and we work out something that fits in their budget, and we want this to be a win-win. So I want to win, but I want the dealership to win. I want the salespeople to win. So I'm pretty easy to work with.
I see that. So you would say that your training at least somewhat fits with almost any type of dealership. What if they already have their own training program or selling system now?
There's a common thread with every person. And so we could come in and just build on top of that sales process, because what we hear through assessments, interviews, and consulting is, I wish my salespeople would follow up more. I wish they were better closers. I wish they were more organized. I wish they were more disciplined. I wish they were better on the phone. I wish they would ask for the sale more. So all of those they're organic or they're generic. And then what I do is I come in, I assess what kind of a selling system they have. And then what I do is I kind of like take their selling system and I just, it's almost like I put it on like a Monster or a Red Bull drink. Let's accelerate it. Let's improve it. Let's get the most out of every step of the sale, no matter what the process is. And at the end of the day, the salespeople are going to sell more. They're going to build more value, and the dealer is going to be able to hold more growth, which means they'll be able to retain more profit.
That makes perfect sense. So what percentage of customers that you work with or dealers that you work with usually have you come in and do more than one training?
I would say probably 75 to 80%. The days of coming in, Beto, and just doing a big powwow and get people motivated, it's sort of like a shower. It just dries off. So my best dealerships, and I train all over the world, from Puerto Rico, Canada, Mexico, all over United States, some of the other tropical islands, a lot of these dealerships, when they set a goal, the first thing I say to them is, or I ask them is, how committed are you to getting to your goal? And when they say they're committed to their goal, it's almost like a gym membership. There's got to be some sort of a ongoing, consistent training program put in place. So I might come in every 45 or 90 days, and then when I'm not there, I have some other programs to help them to keep building up the momentum and the skills.
That makes sense. Reinforcement really does make a big difference. It really doesn't matter what it is that you're trying to teach or train anyone. So you have that down. So you understand that's a need, and you know that after you visit the dealership, they've got programs that they can actually get involved in. So that's really good to know. I've got a couple statistical questions for you. I bet you probably know the answer to. Basically, what percentage of or number of sales do you think the average dealer actually loses a month for not being trained well enough?
Well, if you just took simple math and just on an example, since I know we're on an interview, if a dealership is selling 100 cars a month or vehicles, and they're closing at 20%, which is the industry average pretty much for new car, it could float over to used car and subprime a bit. And buy here, pay here is a completely different industry, so the closing ratio is going to be a little bit higher because they're selling programs and credit and so on. But if a dealership is selling 100 cars a month, closing at 20%, that means there was 500 opportunities. So the simple math is you take 100 from 500, and that leaves you with 400. Now, no dealer is going to think we're losing 400 sales, but at the end of the day, when somebody leaves a dealership without buying, these are the industry NADA stats. 4 out of 10 customers that leave a dealership without buying that day are going to go buy within 4 hours. In 3 days, it turns to 60%, and in 7 days, it turns to 90%. So when your buyers leave without buying, they're not going home to sleep on it. They're going to the next dealership. So if there were 400 lost opportunities, what I ask most dealerships is this: what percent of the lost sales or opportunities do you want? And most people say, well, I'd like to have at least 10% of the 400. So, Beto, that's 40 sales a month.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It is a lot. Yes, the dealer thinks, well, we better do more advertising. The salespeople think we need more cars. And what management should be saying is we need to train our salespeople so that they can close them on the first visit, because according to other stats in the industry, the average customer is spending over 15 hours, Beto, on the internet researching how to buy a vehicle. So they've already done all their homework. So once they get to a dealership, they're ready to buy. And if you don't have trained salespeople, what will end up happening is your salespeople will be walking off the buyer to other dealerships.
I see that. It's that bleed, that 80% bleed. You know, if they leave your lot, they're most likely going to go buy somewhere else. I deal with this a little bit of those statistics myself, and it's unbelievable how much difference good training can make. I mean, would you say that one of the biggest challenges for dealerships today is lack of training, or is it lack of marketing? What's your opinion about that?
Well, I think that a dealership has so many moving parts that it's really hard for the dealers and the managers to slow down the day and to actually develop their salespeople. So what ends up happening is the salespeople are left to be successful by chance, hope, wish, or whatever other crazy ideas are out there. And that's why there is a 65% turnover of new salespeople within 6 months. And the stat goes to 92% in 1 year without good training. 92% of your staff will turn over.
Oh my goodness! Wow, that's an incredible statistic. But I could see how, especially if they feel like they're going to have better luck somewhere else, that luck could change immediately just by having you and your staff come in and work with them on the training that you guys do. So I could see how that could be highly valuable. Here's a question under that, guys. What makes your program different than the other training programs out there?
Fantastic question. And I've been a professional trainer for over 17 years in the industry. I have spent hundreds of hours, read hundreds of books, researched, how to change or transform somebody's behavior. I have the ability to connect with people, get them to open up, get past their fears, because most people dislike change. They want to stay the way they are, but at the end of the day, if time and experience was the answer to selling lots of cars, and the people that have been in business selling cars for 10, 15 years should be at the top of their game, and they're not. So I have to come in there and sell them on change, open up their mind, get them to believe that there's an easier way to sell cars. And then once we show them the training material, we get them to role play it, get comfortable with it, so that they can start using it in a time when they're comfortable, and eventually it becomes their new habit. And then these people start selling 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 cars a month. And Beto, I'll tell you, I've seen the 8-car person go to 12, go to 15, go to 20, go to 25 and 30. It's amazing what training and education can do to a salesperson or to a manager and even a dealer.
Man, George, it really sounds like you're just kind of striking at the core of the human personality and what it really takes to stay motivated and focused in this sales training perspective. Tell me, do you speak in other industries as well besides automotive?
I do. I speak in insurance, also in health, real estate, healthcare, and just about any type of organization that where motivation, inspiration is needed to help either drive a team to their goal. And like I said earlier in the interview, there's a common thread. Everybody, if you're in sales, wants you to sell more. And, to sell more, you either have to work more, spend more hours at it, or you develop yourself. And so what I work on are transforming people's skills, breaking bad habits, improving a attitude, and then getting people to become committed to what they're doing, or or the goals that they're trying to reach.
Well, that is a much better perspective, in my opinion, than a lot of the other training that I've seen available out there. A lot more heartfelt, a lot more personality, and I love it. So one of the things that I think our listeners are going to love is George is coming to Marketplace Master. He is actually going to be one of our speakers, which I'm super excited about. George, can you share with our audience here, if they were to come and be present for your presentation, what to expect? What would they come to learn from you at our show?
Real simple: close more sales and make more money. I'm just gonna lay that out there right there. That's the end result. That of course everybody wants to come to a show and see, whether it's technology or equipment or something they need for their dealership or how to improve their personnel. So we'll be talking about systems and processes and how the market has evolved through social media, because we now know, I believe the number is there's over 1.5 billion people on Facebook. People are looking at their phone over 150 times a day. It's easier to reach people today through whether it's texting, social media, and we're going to show a lot of the dealers how that their salespeople can become social influencers, build a following, get the likes, so that when that customer is ready to look or purchase, they start thinking about your people and your dealership. So there's a lot of giveaways that will be at the meetings or at the conference. So
awesome. Well, we're super just lucky to have you, George. Let's talk a little bit about what an individual dealership might be able to engage with you. So I'm on your website right now under automotive training. This is the worldsgreatestcloser.com for those of you that are currently paying attention. And he's got some good detail on here of what his automotive training is about. I'm just kind of scrolling your page just a little bit. I actually read this earlier today. You cover a tremendous amount of great information on here. I see that you've actually got some good social selling stuff in here. There's some things that you and I have talked about in the past as well. And I encourage any of you that have the time to jump onto George's website. If you'll notice right down here, this is the big telephone number to get a hold of George is 909-273-7622. And you get on his website, you can learn a lot more about his services. He does seminars as well. I've got that page up here too. You guys can kind of come get in here and check out some of the stuff that he does for his seminars. And George, tell me, if I wanted to get a hold of you and I wanted to get you booked, I wanted you to come work with my dealership, like, is this the best way to get a hold of you? Should I just call this number? How do I get a hold of George?
Text me, 909-273-7622, and you'll get an immediate response. And if not, then I'm in a seminar, or I'm in a workshop, or I'm with my family, or I'm speaking at Marketplace Masters, but I will get back to you as soon as I can. Or you can look me up on LinkedIn or Facebook.
Okay, fantastic. Awesome. Again, worldsgreatestcloser.com, and this is Beto Paredes with Marketplace Masters sitting here speaking with who's really become a good friend of mine, George Dans. George, thank you so much for spending a few moments with us here talking about what it is that you have to offer to dealerships, and I look forward to seeing you at our show in September.
Beto, thank you so much, and I can't wait to be part of which I know is going to be the best industry show ever. I just can't wait to be there and be part of it.
Thanks, George. And for the rest of you, keep paying attention. We will have new interviews up here weekly here in our media center, and we look forward to seeing you at our show in September. Have a great rest of your day.